July 6, 2016, Wednesday of the 14th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the book of the prophet Hosea. Israel is a luxuriant vine, whose fruit matches its growth. The more abundant his fruit, the more altars he built. The more productive his land, the more sacred pillars he set up. Their heart is false. Now they pay for their guilt. God shall break down their altars and destroy their sacred pillars. If they would say, "We have no king," since they do not fear the Lord, what can the king do for them? The king of Samaria shall disappear, like foam upon the waters. The high places of Avon shall be destroyed, the sin of Israel. Thorns and thistles shall overgrow their altars. Then they shall cry out to the mountains, "Cover us," and to the hills, "Fall upon us." Sow for yourselves justice. Reap the fruit of piety. Break up for yourselves a new field, for it is time to seek the Lord, till he come and rain down justice upon you. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "Seek always the face of the Lord. Sing to him, sing his praise. Proclaim all his wondrous deeds. Glory in his holy name. Rejoice, O hearts that seek the Lord. Seek always the face of the Lord. Look to the Lord in his strength. Seek to serve him constantly. Recall the wondrous deeds that he has wrought, his portents, and the judgments he has uttered. Seek always the face of the Lord. You descendants of Abraham, his servants, sons of Jacob, his chosen ones. He, the Lord, is our God. Throughout the earth his judgments prevail. Seek always the face of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to drive them out and to cure every disease and every illness. The names of the 12 apostles are these. First, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew, James the son of Zebedee and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon the Cananean, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. Jesus sent out these 12 after instructing them thus, "Do not go into pagan territory or enter a Samaritan town. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. As you go, make this proclamation: the kingdom of heaven is at hand." The Gospel of the Lord.
July 6th, Wednesday of the 14th week in Ordinary Time, the memorial of St. Maria Goretti. The first reading comes from Hosea 10, 1-3, 7-8, and 12. Hosea speaks about how God had blessed Israel, made her into a luxurious vine, but she created many altars to the pagan gods. She turned away from the Lord, and so because of that, the altars would be broken down and the king of Israel would be destroyed, because they claimed that the king of Israel was the viceroy of God upon the earth, and instead Israel would be punished for her sinfulness, for her infidelity. Two of the words that were used for God in the Old Testament were emet and hesed. Emet means he's faithful to his promises. Hesed, he's merciful. But because these people have turned away from mercy, because they've been unfaithful, they have to suffer the consequences of their choice. They must be punished. Now, he's not punishing them just to destroy them, but he's punishing them rather to bring them around, because maybe if they see the consequences of their bad choices, they will turn back to the Lord. The Gospel is from Matthew 10, 1-7. This is the summoning of the 12 apostles, and the names are the same ones that we hear most of the time. Instead of Jude, we hear Thaddeus. We hear that Simon is a zealot. Remember, zealots are a political party that oppose the Romans. And the rest of their names are familiar. They are sent to the lost sheep of Israel. They're not to go to pagan territory. They're not to go to the Samaritans. Remember, the Gospel of Matthew is very Jewish. Jesus' mission, first of all, is to the Jewish people, to bring them back. And only later will he reach out to the Samaritans and the pagans. Ironically, we're going to hear that it's among the pagans that you see some of the best responses to his preaching. That the Jews, who were his people who should have listened to him, in fact don't. Whereas many of the Samaritans, many of the pagans do. And may God bless us.